This is Townsend Cemetery in the town of Crewkerne in the county of Somerset. Somerset is in the southwest of the UK. I have never been here before, so this is going to be a visit just to explore some of the memorials as we walk through the graveyard. As with so many of these cemeteries, one of the first things we notice are the war graves. This one is to Private Taylor of the Somerset Light Infantry, who died in 1915. Close by is Corporal F.J.T. Sibley, Royal Army Ordnance Corps, 1945. Close together in the graveyard, but two different wars. And two more here. This one is to W. Pinney of the loyal North Lancashire Regiment, and alongside him is W. H. Harris of the Essex Regiment. There's a very solid block of stone here, and this one remembers Ada Marion Spottiswoode Cleland, eldest daughter of John Hutton Balfour, Regius Professor of Botany at the University of Edinburgh, and the wife of John Cleland, Regius Professor of Anatomy at the University of Glasgow. A few more details further down. There's an interesting design on the cross here. I don't think I've seen anything quite like that before. And down at the bottom, unfortunately not easy to read, it's quite a long inscription and probably tells us quite a lot about the person buried in this plot. If we step back, you can see the plot has these iron railings around it, the demarcation of the plot. It's nice to see those iron railings still in place. An interesting design on this stone. We've got the figure of a angel, I think. Yes, angel with the wings at the top there. And some plant-like material each side. And then we've got John Partridge, 1905, on the left, and his daughter Mary Drusilla and Minnie, who died in 1874 and 1878. And they were quite young when they died, 19 and 18. Interesting design on that stone. Now this is interesting. This is very much an Art Deco design of stone. The person who died passed away in 1938. That was during the Art Deco period. But I've seen the exact same design of stone in a churchyard in Devon. I believe it was at Silverton. I did a video on that churchyard and remarked on the interesting stone, and here is the exact same one. Wherever we look in this graveyard, we come across these war graves. So many young men gave their lives. Another one here to Bombardier C.J.A. Newbury, Royal Garrison Artillery. Died in 1918. Some of these more modern stones could break your heart. This one here, a lovely young lad, Richard Keith Fitch, who died just 7 years old. And along here is his mother on the right hand side. This one has the wreath of poppies, and the inscription on the left hand side is Archibald Mallet. And there is a crest at the top there with Gloucestershire as the lower line and Egypt as the higher. So I'm supposing that's the Gloucestershire Regiment who served in Egypt. And And as I walk through the graveyard, my eye is taken to 3 more war graves here. Got the Somerset Light Infantry, the Hampshire Regiment, and the Royal Artillery. These are all graves from the Second World War. Another stone with a rather interesting, I guess it's a cross on top, but rather intricately carved. Quite impossible to read the inscription on it. Under the trees here at the far end of the cemetery, we have this possibly an angel, a young lady, carefully carved, looking very mournful with a wreath of flowers. And the name at the bottom is Mary Ellen, wife of William Alford, also Hubert Tickle. This is a more recent stone, but it says treasured memories of John Beament Denning, an honoured citizen of Crewkerne, who died in 2012. There's a small statue here of a young lad with wings, a cherub or an angel, and it's in memory of Bernard Rowland Stagg, who died in 1930 in his 2nd year. And I show you this child's grave because the decoration on it shows that she's still very much in the thoughts of the family who lost her. This is Brooklyn Lita Ann Purchase, 2000, and she died 4 months old. Our pretty little girl, Heaven's beautiful angel. And quite clearly the family is still missing her very much 20 years later. I'll pick out this war memorial. This is Sergeant H.M. Mayle, who was a pilot in the Royal Air Force, just 22 years old, died in 1943. And the words beneath the cross, which the relatives would have paid to put on, says greatly beloved. A very intricately carved one here. We have this angel with her wings, and she's putting a wreath up against the top of the cross. The cross has some cloth hanging over it, which is draped around to where her hand is, carved all the way down, and as always the feet are showing beneath the gown. And the memorial here is to Emily Hayther, 1916, age 77. That's a very intricately carved memorial. Now earlier on we spotted the Art Deco stone in the sort of reddy brown colour. Here's one which is in the same similar design, clearly Art Deco, but in black stone. And it's William Charles Sparrow, 1939, which of course was the Art Deco period. Cecil Harry Barnes has a little epitaph on here. Home is the sailor home from the sea, and the hunter home from the hill. And down here, Peter Barnes. Here he lies where he longed to be. Something a little different in design. Peace at the top, in ever-loving memory of a beloved husband and father, Charles Harold Phillips, Charlie, who died in 35, aged 48. And wherever you go in this cemetery, you come across these war graves. This one is F. Coombs of the Royal Field Artillery, and behind we have H. Sweet of the Royal Army Service Corps. This is a little different. The names are on metal plaques which are screwed into the stone. So the top one here is William Samuel Dunn, 1890, Charlotte Peer Dunn, 1904, Joseph Andretz Dunn, it could be Andrews, 1924. Now it's surprising sometimes to still find these stones complete, because quite often the metal plaques get wrenched off, possibly sold for scrap, but this one is complete and it's nice to see. Well, I'm going to call that a day. Crewkerne is only a small town. It's a population of less than 10,000, so this is relatively small cemetery. And what has struck me is the number of war graves in here. Almost at every turn you come across one of the war graves. Very peaceful spot up on the hill here. Certainly worth a visit. Till next time.